5 nights, can't wait for tonight. Keep those messages coming. Now, let's meet another guest on the show. Last time I spoke to this chap, actually, was on the phone when we were in Transylvania. This time, I'm delighted to say he's actually with me in St George's Hall. Please give it up for Professor William Hughes, who teaches Gothic Studies at Bath Spa University. And the thing I love about you, William, is you teach a course that has Most Haunted as part of the syllabus, which is just amazing.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely true. I mean, it's the descendant of a course that's been running for several years as part of the English degree called Mystery and Melodrama. And the third-year course that has run, based from the original course we did in the second year, is called Modern Gothic. And I use Most Haunted on video or on DVD these days, of course, for showing how the modern occult world works, how people communicate, how different language are used by people who are believers, non-believers, the scientists as opposed to the explorer types, and so on and so forth.
And you were telling me earlier that the course is oversubscribed. Brilliant.
Horribly oversubscribed. I mean, there are 75 approximate students will be taking the second year course exam on Monday morning, so good luck to them. But also my third year cohort will be quite large as well.
Right.
So.
Why Most Haunted? Just to explain that, why have you picked it out?
It's probably the sort of premier guide, if you like, to the way that the public see the occult today. It's much more accessible in terms of its history content, in terms of its exploration content, in terms of its graphics and so on and so forth, than any kind of preceding work. And it's an accessible program that gives people straightforward ideas that they can work with, they can challenge, they can understand.
Oh, praise indeed. Now, Carl earlier was talking about incubus and succubus when we were talking about night terrors and dreams and nightmares. Can you explain a bit more about that for me?
Well, basically, you've got two types of demons in this context, and they go back way into classical mythology. The incubus, a male demon, possibly derived from a fallen angel, a thrown-down angel who has become unnatural in the sense that has rejected sort of, you know, the almost asexual nature of angels. So you've got an angel sort of figure that effectively predates upon people during the night. Again, the succubus, the female equivalent, may be descended from Lilith, the supposed first wife of Adam. And again, you know, a terror of the night, something that would leave you subsumed, exhausted during the course of
And do we have lots of evidence of this? I mean, as in scientific evidence of night terrors?
Well, we've certainly got documented cases where people have written down that they've been sort of like predated upon by figures like this. I mean, you've got sort of a case in which people have been sort of taken before the Inquisition or before ecclesiastical courts and accused of, you know, being involved with demons in the night and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of sort of historical evidence. Do we have evidence of the physical kind? No.
Right, and as we know, an expert on vampires as well, from the last time we spoke, which is another subject that you're very much into, isn't it?
It's another terror of the night and very closely related. I mean, a different type of psycho-spiritual, psycho-occult sort of conception, but certainly related to that, and from terrors of the night, as the saying goes in the Compline Service, protect us.
And is a night terror, finally, is a night terror different from a nightmare?
Very much so. I mean, the whole conception of the nightmare, I mean, there's a marvellous painting by a painter called Henry Fuseli, in which the nightmare is depicted as a creature that sits upon your chest and chokes you. A nightmare is associated with the choking sensations of the night. Right. A night terror may be much more vague, much more ill-defined.
OK. We shall find out later what that means. William, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Ted.
Joining us from Bath Spa University. If you're taking exams on Monday, good luck with those. Now, a lot's been said this week about St George's Hall. A lot of thoughts from the audience about whether it's haunted. Well, it is. Clearly, many of the audience are telling me we've heard sounds and so on, and people have seen things all around the hall when we've had seances here. But it's also a hall and a location with some fantastic history, and history is all about people, and I think this next film really sums that up. Look at this.
I'm Walter Fairclough, aged 76, and I was born in Liverpool. St George's Hall has a very special meaning to myself because it was the very first time I met my wife here. On New Year's Eve 1958, I came here with a group of people It was a New Year's Eve dance. During the course of the evening, I met this young lady. She was here with her friend, and that was how it all started off, you see. Unfortunately, my wife died in January 2000. But obviously from that chance meeting, as it were, I have now got 3 children, all of whom are married, 6 grandchildren, 2 adopted step-grandchildren. So from that chance meeting, you see, got a whole 3 families.
My name's Val Price. I was born in Liverpool, 1945. I'll let you work out the age from that. And I'm a true Scouse. This is my city. I remember as a child seeing this huge building. It was forbidding, it was a huge, and the lions outside, fantastic. And the tales you used to tell about the lions and them coming alive, and that was the fun of the thing. But it never seemed to be open, it was closed. It was something that was going on inside sometimes, but you weren't part of it. But now, it's opened up to such an extent, it feels like a second home. Well, it does to me because I spend a lot of time here. But it has changed from something that was magnificent, it's always been magnificent, but forbidding in some ways and closed, to now something that is fantastic still. But the doors are opened. You can get in, you can see what a magnificent building it is inside.
Hello, my name's Kath O'Reilly. I'm 71 years of age and I'm from Skemersdale, Lancashire. St George's Hall means a lot to me for the simple reason I met my husband down here. We started going out together. Then we decided to get married, and I married on the 1st of June 1957. It was always a meeting place for everybody at George's Hall because people lived out of town, didn't know where we lived or anything like that, but they knew where the George's Hall was. So that's where a lot of people went to the George's Hall to meet. I remember just after the Second World War, and thousands met at the George's Hall and was singing. And also after the Second World War, I remember, I must have only been about 8, and the people from Scotland Road and Kirkdale Road lined up along there, hand in hand, and sang When the Light's Gonna Go On Again all over the world.
Another lovely film for Most Haunted Live, and thank you so much to Walter, Val and Catherine for telling us their stories there. Great stuff. Now, a lot of you have been asking questions about the hall itself. It's very interesting because it looks wonderful, doesn't it, with all the lighting we've put in, but it is an extraordinary location as well. Now, one of the things we have been asked about is the amazing floor here in St George's Hall. Now, we've got a shot here of the hall without all the audience in it and the floor. The Minton floor, made of 2 sections, a central sunken section, normally covered by a wooden floor for dancing, and the outer rim, which looks considerably older as it's unprotected. Now, the famous Minton tiled floor includes 30,000 handcrafted tiles depicting tritons, sea nymphs and boys on dolphins, as well as the Liverpool coat of arms as well. Now, the floor was covered over in the 1860s to allow for a more suitable surface for dancing, and as a result of this, the floor has been incredibly well preserved. And I just want to mention that from January the 30th until the 15th of February, the Minton tiled floor will be on display for the public to view. It was last unveiled in 2007 to mark the restoration and official reopening of the hall. I do commend it to you. And the organ, a lot of people have been asking us about the organ. You see me and Paul standing up here in the organ loft over the last few days, and people who are into organs have been saying, what's it all about? Well, it was actually built in 1855 by Father Henry Willis of Liverpool-based Henry Willis and Sons. You can see a great thing here. One of the most famous organ building companies in the world, of course. It originally cost over £9,000. Originally the biggest organ in the country until Willis built a larger one for the Royal Albert Hall in 1871. And the organ is supported by hollow bricks and has a total of 7,737 pipes. Not bad, eh? Used to be actually run on steam, but then they turned it to an electric organ, or to be correct, electro-pneumatic organ in 1931. So now you know, and there are the pipes. A bit more about the organ here at St George's Hall. Now, time for us to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes' time as we launch our search tonight for night terror.